Library Lion, written by Michelle Knudsen, illustrated by Kevin Hawks. One day, a lion came to the library. He walked right up onto the stacks. Mr. McBee ran down the hall to the head librarian's office. "Miss Merriweather," he called. "Now running," said Miss Merriweather without looking up. "But there's a lion in the library," said Mr. McBee. "Is he breaking the rules?" asked Miss Merriweather. She was very particular about rule breaking. "Well, no, not really," said Mr. McBee. "Then let him be." The lion wandered all around the library. He sniffed the card catalog. He rubbed his head against the new book collection. Then he padded over to the story corner and went to sleep. No one was sure what to do. There were no rules about lions in the library. Soon it was time for story hour. The story lady seemed a little nervous, but she read out the first book's title in a good, clear voice. The lion looked up. The story lady kept reading. The lion stayed for the next story, and the story after that. He waited for another story, but the children began to walk away. "Story hour is over," a little girl told him. "It's time to go." The lion looked at the children. He looked at the story lady. He looked at the closed books. Then he roared very loud. "Roar!" Miss Merriweather came striding out of her office. "Who was making that noise?" "It's the lion," said Mr. McBee. Miss Merriweather marched over to the lion. "If you cannot be quiet, you will have to leave," she said in a stern voice. "Those are the rules." The lion kept roaring. Roar! He sounded sad. The little girl tugged on Miss Merriweather's dress. "If he promises to be quiet, can he come back for story hour tomorrow?" she asked. The lion stopped roaring. He looked at Miss Merriweather. Miss Merriweather looked back. "Yes, and I thought the lion would certainly be able to come back for story hour tomorrow." "Hooray! Hooray!" said the children. The next day, the lion came back. "You are early," said Miss Merriweather. "Story hour is not until 3 o'clock. You might as well make yourself useful." She sent him off to dust the encyclopedias and make all the envelopes for the overdue notices. Soon, the lion began doing the things without being asked. People get used for having him around. He made a comfy backrest for children at story hour. Then he never roared in the library anymore. "What a helpful lion," people said. They patted his soft head as he walked by. One day, after doing all the chores he had, the lion patted down to Miss Meriwether's office to see what else there was to do. "Hello, Lion," said Miss Meriwether. "I know something you can do. You can bring the book back to the shack for me. Let me just get it down from the shelf." Miss Meriwether stepped on the step stool. The book was just out of reach. She stood on her toes and stretched her fingers. "Almost there," she said. Then she stretched a little too far. "Ouch!" said Miss Meriwether softly. She did not get up. "Mr. McBee!" she called after a minute. "Mr. McBee!" But Mr. McBee could not hear her calling. "Lion," said Miss Meriwether. "Please go again, Mr. McBee." The lion ran down the hall. "No running!" Miss Meriwether called after him. He looked at Mr. McBee. "Go away, Lion," said Mr. McBee. "I'm busy." The lion whined. He pointed his nose down the hall to Miss Meriwether's office. Mr. McBee ignored him. Finally, the lion looked Mr. McBee right in the eye. He opened his mouth very wide and roared the loudest he had never in his life. Roar! Mr. McBee gasped. "You're not being quiet," he said to the lion. "You're breaking the rules." Mr. McBee walked down the hall as fast as he could. The lion did not follow him. He knew he had broken the rules and walked towards the doors. "Miss Meriwether! Miss Meriwether! The lion broke the rules! The lion broke the rules!" Mr. McBee burst into Miss Meriwether's office. She was not in her chair. "Miss Meriwether?" he asked. "Sometimes," said Miss Meriwether from the floor behind her desk. "There is a good reason to break the rules, even in the library. Now please go call a doctor. I think I've broken my arm." Mr. McBee ran to call a doctor. The next day, Mr. McBee stopped by Miss Meriwether's office. "What is it, Mr. McBee?" asked Miss Meriwether in her new, sad, quiet voice. "I thought you might like to know," said Mr. McBee. "There's a lion in the library." Miss Meriwether jumped up from her chair and ran down the hall. Mr. McBee smiled. "No running," he called after her. Moral lesson of the story: sometimes there is a good reason to break the rules, even in the library.